Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. At least we didn't have to wait, what, 9 years for this one? This is insane. Nevertheless, on we go. So, a lot of people are going to be very nervous about spoilers in this sort of game. I'm currently 6 hours, 50 minutes in, and I can fairly safely tell you that fuck all has happened. But for those of you who are nervous to spoilers, I'll be making an attempt to not follow the main story, but instead follow the side quests. But considering I haven't actually played the section of the game that I'm about to come up against already, I'm just going to warn you now, there is no way for me to guarantee there won't be spoilers in this video. Nevertheless, now that you know that much, on we go. At least I can't imagine there'll be spoilers, because this isn't a very particularly story-heavy area. It's focused on one small town, but again, can't confirm anything. And I am going to show you a voiced conversation, which might have something to do with the character development, but it's not too bad for me to feel bad about. But anyway, here we go. So we got 3 different sound sliders. Unfortunately, we don't have the Japanese voices, which is fair enough, I guess, but it's a little bit of a shame it's not in there. And some other obvious things, including button configurations. Even though you can't really change everything, you can only change specific things. But if you want to change the character, the leader button to the D-pad up and down, you can do that if you want. Anyway, I'm terrible with saves. Look at all these saves I got. Look at them. But we're just going to stay down here on these ones. I just need to remember which one it was that led to the voice cutscene. I think it was this one here. And then there was this one down here. Now, let's load this save up, because it'll have me right outside a place where we can immediately go into a saved cut not into a saved cutscene, voice cutscene. And we can listen to some of the voice acting, not all of it, but we can listen to some of it. And I can talk about the game's plot and story and all that. Then we can get onto the gameplay later. Nevertheless, here we go. I'll let this play out for a bit.
Ah, that was delicious. Those are some seriously fresh vegetables, too.
Yeah, nothing beats food made from local ingredients.
I quite enjoyed the rye bread myself.
I suppose this whole field study thing isn't so bad when you take the menu into account. I wonder what the others in Group B are doing right now.
Somehow, I doubt they're sitting around a table and talking like we are.
That would certainly be a shock if they were. I can't help but question what exactly Class 7's purpose is, though. Instructor Sarah says it's about Arcus, but I don't think that's the only reason we've been brought together.
I'm certain it's not. If that were all, today's field study tasks would serve little purpose.
It seems as though she's trying to make us experience, I don't know, things. Like all kinds of things, big and small. What I can't wrap my head around, though, is why.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to put everything in its place, why don't you just go with the flow for a change? It seems like you're desperately trying to find something. But if you don't plant yourself somewhere, you're just gonna blow away with the next big gust that comes along.
What do we have to offer one another, when our reasons for enrolling in Thor's in the first place are undoubtedly very different?
Our reasons?
I hadn't considered that.
My reason for enrolling was quite simple. I aim to come ever closer to my goal. Or rather, to the person whom I regard as such.
Who's that?
This is neither the time nor the place to discuss such matters. Best to save that topic for another day. What about you, Elisa? Why did you enroll at the academy?
There's no one single reason, but I think I just wanted to assert my independence. I mean, my situation back at home isn't exactly ideal, and this seemed like a good way to get out and do more, I guess.
I see.
It sounds like I'm probably in the minority then. See, I wasn't intending on coming here at all originally. I wanted to do something completely different.
You did?
Oh yeah, you said you were really hoping you'd get into a music academy, right?
Oh?
Well, I wasn't that serious about it or anything. What about you, Reen? You're the last holdout, and since you're the one who brought it up, it's only fair you answer the question too.
Me? I wanted to find myself, I guess.
Find yourself?
Huh?
Sorry. That makes it sound like a much bigger deal than it actually is. That's the best way I can think of to put it, though.
Nothing wrong with that. Going on a journey of self-discovery? It's actually a pretty cool answer.
Yeah, I had no idea you were such a romanticist. You sure don't come across as one.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Alright, so I'll leave it at that for the time being. And strangely enough, the sound just completely cuts out here. There's just no voice acting anymore. But anyway, that was just a quick look at the game's voice acting, and there are more voiced characters throughout the story and all that. And I have to admit, I actually like it a lot. Oh god, it just starts again? Seriously? Like, why? I don't know. But it's surprisingly good voice acting. I mean, there are some lines that are delivered somewhat awkwardly. Like, wait until I use one of Elise's special abilities in one of the battles, trust me. The delivery is so cringeworthy, but most of the voice acting in this game is actually really nice to listen to. Unfortunately, there's no, like, automatic mode where you can just, like, press the start button or something and let the voice acting play out, because it would be nice to sit back and relax and listen to it, but can't do that, unfortunately. Also of note is that there's a weird thing going on with some of the cutscenes where Reen isn't voiced, but everybody else who's voiced is. Which really doesn't make much sense to me, because it just seems odd. Like, it's just weird not having him talk when everybody else is talking. There's a couple of cutscenes that have shown up like that in the story beforehand, and
I didn't think it was
honestly, Reen's performance is probably one of my favorite in the whole game so far, so I don't understand why he doesn't talk as much, but oh well. The cutscenes are actually really well presented too, like these animations here. They're simple, they remind me a lot of Virtue's Last Reward in that sense, but they're still quite nice to look at, and they're relatively natural.
It's an honor to be.
There are also other cutscenes that take place that just have two characters standing in front of a blurry screen, but it's still the lip syncing is still pretty good as well, even though it's very simple. Like, it's not accurate lip syncing, but it's still pretty good lip syncing nonetheless. But yeah, these cutscenes are just really well presented. I like the way the camera moves. I like just the presentation of it, just in general. It's really nice to watch, I have to say. I apologize if I'm skipping some of the voice dialogue here, but this does take a little bit of a while to get through, and I don't want to spend too long in here because, you know, gameplay and all that, but yeah, I'm actually really enjoying the way the story's being presented. All the animations are all that and nice to look at, and there's plenty of stuff like that, so yeah, it's nice.
I'm going to practice outside.
I'm just gonna cut the recording, and I'll be back when I can actually load into some actual gameplay, because I don't want to spend too long in this cutscene. Okay, so I'm just loading back into my most recent saved game now, and I'll be able to show you around the gameplay part of the game, because this gameplay part surely is the biggest part of the game, but nevertheless. So here we are in the town of Seldick, or Keldick, or something. Like, the town names in this game are really weird. Like, there's Thor's military academy, and I keep thinking of the Norse god, but anyway. In fact, there is a lot of, like, Norse mythology in this game, but let's just spend a little bit of time looking around the menus first, because we all know that looking around the menus is something I really like to do. So, we've got... This is actually really, really similar to The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, which is, you know, obvious, since this is basically a direct sequel to those games, but it's more of a direct sequel to Zero and Hour, but AO? I don't know. But anyway, so we've got a bunch of things here to look at. We've got the notebook, which will show us what's happened in the story so far, which is actually really useful if you've come back after a while and you've forgotten everything that's going on. You've also got quests, and it'll keep you very up to date on what's going on with the quests here. So we can actually see what 2 quests I need to do here. So yesterday I found a wallet on the floor in front of my store, so we can go have a look for that, and then we can go and fight this big monster here, which is really nice. And also it shows you, as you can see here, just a complete log of how the quest is going. So again, just if you haven't played for a while, if you're a little bit confused on what you need to do, it notes it all down here, which is great. We've also got battle records here for all the stuff that you fight, and you've got unbalanced efficiency, how statuses work on it, what's effective against it, what Sepith it drops. You've also got information on all the different characters as well, which is really nice. And recipes, which is the cooking system of the game, which returns from the previous games, where you can cook stuff, but if you cook with a specific person to do a specific on a specific recipe, you can create 4 different types of food. So if we cook with Laura, for example, we made an ooze cookie, which is an attack item, which is actually poisonous, which is brilliant. But if we cook with someone who's actually good at cooking, like Elisa,
Alright, let's get started.
we actually make a completely different item, which has a different effect, which is actually really cool. So if we look at the simple omelette, I've actually created all 4 variants of it. And as we can see here, there's one that we've made that gives us a 25% defense boost, but there's even one we've made that cures knockout, which is, you know, fainted or having run out of 0 HP. Because, funnily enough, knockout and faint are 2 completely different things in this one. They're kind of confusing me. You can also go fishing. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any water around here that I can demonstrate that with, but it's a simple minigame where you just mash buttons. And there's a bunch of different fish you can get. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be as many fish as there were back in Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky 2nd chapter, which is kind of disappointing. And of course, you can also buy books, including the Imperial Chronicle, which tells you the news, and there's even a bloody novel that's being published halfway through, but yeah. So as you can see, there's like 24 pages of that novel to read. And you've also got the active voice record, which is weird because it lets you listen to some of the previous voice acting that you've heard.
Huh, never seen this kind before. Huh, there seems to be a treasure chest here.
What's a place like this even doing on the school grounds?
I feel a little wind blowing from the east. I bet the exit's that
So
way.
yeah, you can just listen to like the 25 most recent active voice lines. It's weird, like I don't know why it's there. And of course, you've also got a complete manual on everything in the game, which is, you know, really, really good. I mean, you can like see some of this stuff in the manual, but being able to come here and just read through all the tutorials I've already been through, I know it's a tiny thing and most games do it, but in this sort of game, it's actually really appreciated. And of course, we've got the triangle menu, which is completely different. But yeah, we've got the equip, which has some pretty obvious stuff. We've got different costumes. We've got accessories, which do specific things. And of course, shoes, armor, and weapons, which all give you different stat boosts. And that's equipped across all of them. I'll show off Orbments later, because we are going in that direction. Of course, you've got items of all kinds and ingredients for cooking. You can check the status of everyone and what their S-breaks are and what their special abilities are, or their arts, I should say. No, those are crafts, and then arts are what come with the Orbments, but we'll get onto that. We've also got combat links. Now, combat links are a little bit more complex. So, every character has a link level with everyone else. And the higher the link level, the more benefits you get from having them linked together. But I'll explain that once we get into battle. We've also got tactics where you can set up links and you can also arrange where characters show up on the battlefield. Probably a good idea to have it set up something like this so I don't get my long range guys attacked immediately. And you can come to note to check out your notebook here as I displayed. And of course you got the system menu, save, load, delete, cross save, and yeah, do that from pretty much anywhere, which is good. Anyway, moving along. So we're here in Geldic, and we can come along and talk to people. And the basic plot around here is that the mark has been busted up a bit. And if we talk to this guy here, because he's got the red exclamation mark above his head, it'll be a story-relevant cutscene. But if we talk to this lady over here, who's got a green exclamation mark, it's non-story relevant. So it tells you what when exactly you're about to be thrown into something that's story relevant. Some of these quests that you get a bunch of them every time you start a new area. Like, I got one at Thor's, a bunch of quests at Thor's, and now this is like the second quest I've gotten from here. Set of quests that I've gotten from here. And if you don't do these short-term ones, you have to do them or you miss them, basically. They fall off your quest log and you can't do them and you don't get the points for them, because the more quests you do, the more points you get towards your rank, and the higher rank you get, the more rewards you get. So, we just got a lost wallet, and now we have to go and find the person who dropped it. A train ticket. The nice thing about these quests is that they give you a bunch of details, but then they let you go and figure it out for yourself. There's no exclamation point over some of the goals. Like, there is one quest back in the first chapter, well, not in the first chapter, but in the Thor's Military Academy, where you end up having to look around for a book, and you have to actually look for it on the field. But anyway. So yeah, there is a lot of text in this game. It's a lot like The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. There is a ton of text. In fact, it's a surprisingly good conversion of Trails in the Sky. Like, I haven't played much of Trails in the Sky, I'll admit this. But it feels like a very faithful recreation of the series, of what I played in it, at least, in 3D. It maintains the same sort of style while being relatively new and fresh. The dialogue seems very familiar and very similar in comparison. And the battle system, which we will get to eventually, I promise, is... Alright, so Annabelle, huh? Rest area in the Grand Market. I know where that is. This is a bit fetch quest. You haven't found too much like this previously. I'm actually gonna hold the R button because it's good to run around with. But yeah, the conversion of the whole series, or at least what I've played of it to 3D, is actually really nice. And let's just take a look at the game's graphics, because, well, it's actually a really nice looking game. Like, I'll stop and have a little bit more of a look around once we get to a more open, wide area. But nevertheless, the whole game just looks really good. So, they've done a really nice job just with the technical conversion. That does mean there's a little bit of a problem though, and that's load times. The game has some really bad load times when you're going on... When you're going in between things like different areas, and when you're coming in and out of battles, the game has some load times. And while the load times aren't that bad, I heard the original release of this game was actually terrible for it. Let's have a look at the map. I can't remember where the church is in this area. Where is it? Right, it's back over there. I was already over there. God damn it. The game's load times in between areas and in between... What's it called? The in between battles is kind of ridiculous sometimes, because it just has a ton of load times, and they get really annoying really quickly, trust me. There is a fast travel system, and generally if you're traveling from an inside area to an inside area, there's almost no load times for some reason. But if you're going from an inside area to an outside area, or if you're going from combat to an outside area, the load times can get pretty annoying pretty quickly. It's not as bad as I'm saying, it's just worth noting that they are not fantastic. And there are some problems with the shadows you might have noticed during the cutscene before, but yeah. It's still fine though, mostly. I mean, you can... God, half of it? Jesus. Oh, we get a souvenir instead. Oh well. We got a Picard plush. Interesting. that count as the quest completed? Or do I have to go back to the original person who gave it? You tend to have to go back to the original person who gave it. See? Loading time! Just out of nowhere. It's kind of annoying. It's also just a really nice world to wander around in and explore. I mean, Trails in the Sky was actually pretty good at that, but now that everything's in 3D and everything's more up close and personal, just wandering around and looking at everything is just really nice. It is just a nice world to be in. But anyway, now that we've finished that, I can get onto the combat. But before I do that, I want to go and explain what orbals are. For those of you who've played, like, Trails in the Sky, this is pretty much exactly what you're expecting. But we'll just go and go to the Orbal Arms and Factory anyway, because that's generally what we do around here. We can also come here to buy new weapons and stuff, but unfortunately I don't really have the Myra for it, so we'll just have to leave. Hello, you. So let's modify our quartz and our slots and our Orbals. So, there are things called quartz, and you slot them in to your Orbals. And these Orbals what basically substitute for character advancement in this game. So you can see I have Sepith over on the left there, and Sepith is spent to open these slots. So I could actually open this slot right here for 140. I think that's times Sepith. And whenever you open this, you basically gain the equivalent of mana in this game. So you... Wow, that's 20,000 Myra each. But you get what's the equivalent of mana, but then you can also slot these things in. So if I go to, no exchange, if I go to Orbment and the quartz, I can swap around what Orbal there is in here. And these can either be different abilities, like Earth Lance or Needle Shoot. We can also have these in here, these, what's the word I'm looking for? These passive ones, which increase your stats. So, and there's even this one here, allows you to see data on enemies yet to be analyzed, which is really interesting. I actually like detection because it shows you all the treasure chests on a minimap you haven't opened yet, which is really nice. But yeah, as you can see, I've equipped them all with specific things, and sometimes when they're in specific colors, you can only put in specific kinds of Orbals in there. So this one here is blue, so I can only put in blue Orbals, for example. So I can only put in the healing spell or these two here. And there's also Master Quartz, which, let's just have a look here. So if you look at it, you actually have individual stats on it. And the more you use these Master Quartz, the more benefits they get. So this one starts with the ability to it gives me 25% extra strength on my first turn for this character. But it also gets more abilities, more arts, and it actually gets stronger. So the more you use of these Master Quartz, the better. And they aren't locked to this particular character. You can swap them around if you like. And you can even buy Master Quartz. See? You can actually buy, like, Water Elemental Master Quartz, which is actually quite useful if you're going for something like a Healing Mage. And it might actually be worth going for a Healing Mage because, Elliot over here actually has, like... Oh, or he already has this one. But yeah, as you can see, there's just a lot of strategy to be had with playing around with all these orbits. You can also customize your weapons here, so you can make them even stronger. And you can also exchange Sepith. You've got what's known as Sepith Mass, which is basically this game's equivalent of money. Like, when you exchange it, you get Myra, and Myra you use to buy stuff, which is kind of annoying. Like, my chair just cracked there. You do have... It just feels annoying to have that extra step there when it could just be like, you know, exchange all your Sepith for Myra, your Sepith Mass for Myra automatically. But then again, in the world that this game takes place in, it makes sense. So I'm not going to bang on it too much for that. And you can also exchange all this other kind of Sepith, but I would not recommend doing that. I would suggest saving that because, again, you use that to unlock more slots, and with more slots you get more MP, and you can have more abilities slotted in, and, you know, it's extremely useful to open up as many slots as possible. I didn't do it there because I actually do plan on coming back to this, and I don't want to go wasting my Sepith on stupid choices, but nevertheless. So, we have a monster to go beat, so let's actually go and beat it. I just have to remember where the hell it is now. West Keldic Highway monster. So it's been sighted on the stone bridge leading to Heimdallr. So west is on the other side, I believe. And can I... No, I can't fast travel to it, unfortunately. But anyway, I can also walk.
I I can do this.
Nice. Anyway, away we go. Strangely enough, there's no difference between walking and running. It's just harder to control running. Use the camera. Oh, I have to get more info, do I? That's kind of disappointing. Alright, I'm going to stop the record again, and then I will come back once I am outside this area. That took way longer than it should have. Let's go out. Seriously, it took me like 10 minutes of running around talking to people before they would let me out the West Highway. But let's go and have a look around at the actual world, which I've only just recently had access to
We
for
should take a right here.
a particular reason.
Right.
Might as well talk about the story structure just while my mind's on it. There are a bunch of similarities to this game that I can't help but think about in comparison to Persona. But I'll get to that. It's combat time. So,
Well, shall we begin?
this is how combat works.
Here we go.
That bar on the left there with all the characters' faces on it, this determines the turn order, and manipulating the turn order lets us get specific bonuses. So see those little icons to the right of the pictures? Those are the bonuses we can get. So if we find a way to delay these guys, we might actually get to take their bonuses, which would be really useful, but I just need to try and edge this into exactly the right spot. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, but oh well. So we have several different things we can do. Attack, move, and item. Those are all fairly obvious. Arts are magical abilities, and they take time to cast. So once I cast it, I get moved down the track, as you can see there by that red arrow. And once it's my turn again, I get to fire it off, but I can be interrupted. It's the same thing with both attack and support arts. And we've also got crafts, which get thrown out immediately, but with the crafts, they cost CP, which you earn via beating the crap out of the enemies and getting CP by doing damage or taking damage. And you need to obviously have these. And there are also characters that have S-breaks, and you need 100 SP to use an S-break, but you can use it at any time, including on enemies' turns, which is a great way to disrupt the turn flow. That's the most simplest explanation I can get, so we might as well just get right into it. So let's beat the crap out of these two.
There.
They take damage. Now, I have two linked characters. Now, linking lets you do specific things. So if you get what's called a knockdown hit in on a character, or on an enemy I should say, the other character will be able to come in and help. So if I can actually get a good knockdown hit in, sometimes it just doesn't happen because you get really bad luck, but let's see if it works. Unfortunately not, but if you get a knockdown hit on a character, or an enemy or whatever, you will be able to follow up with an assist attack, and there are also bonuses for getting a link level above 1.
Here we go.
So there are other things that can happen. Unfortunately, so here we go. So here's a link attack, because I got the knockdown, so I get the link attack in, which lets me do extra bonus damage, but it unfortunately rearranges the turn order, so you know, you better know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
Oh crap, okay, let's do another resounding beat so we can see. Don't want to, oh no, resounding beat, I want to do blue lullaby. Resounding beat will be good for the boss fight that we're going to go do. Nevertheless, ah damn, didn't work. So unfortunately that's a critical hit, but if an enemy misses, or if you miss and they're within attack range, you'll be able to get a counter attack in, which is a bit of a pain in the ass when it happens to you, but it's great when it happens to them. So yeah, that was a quick look at battle. We'll be going a little bit more in depth when it comes around to fighting the boss that's up ahead. But I might as well get back onto the point that I was on while I go and attack a couple more guys just to show off a little bit more of the battle system. But you can actually attack enemies, and if you hit them with the right attack and then come from behind, you'll get different advantages. So I actually get a triple advantage because I managed to knock them out and I came from behind. Because enemies are weak to specific types of attacks and specific types of elements. So as you can see here, status efficacy, so you can see how much I'll be affected by specific things. So we can actually set these to sleep, which would be quite useful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just move him up here, because why not, right? And if I use the blue lullaby on these guys, because they're 100% affected by sleep, they should fall asleep immediately. Yep, Oh, well, one fell asleep immediately, so now we can just take care of this guy. It's triple advantage, too, so I actually get, like, 2 or 3 attacks in before anybody else does, which is quite nice.
Here we go.
But anyway, I might as well get on to what I was talking about before, because this is actually quite relevant. The link system works on a series of link XP. So as you can see here, Green and Laura earned 3 link experience, and everybody else learned 1 link experience. The best way to learn link experience is through the game's Socialization system, where back at the Thor's Military Academy, you can you get what's called, I can't remember exactly what they're called. I could probably go look for it in the tutorial menu, but there's probably no point in doing that. You basically get these points, which let you socialize with the other characters, and you earn an absolute ton of extra, turn to flames. That is the most awkward line of dialogue I found in this game, but nevertheless. You get these points, which you only get 2 of them, and then you get an extra one during the evening for specifically evening-related events. And you can only socialize with specific party members during that time. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's basically good old Persona. Like, that's all it bloody is, right? It's Persona 4 through and through. And when you do these events, you get experience, you get link experience. And the link experience, when you have enough link experience with teammates, you get extra levels, and the levels help you out and all that. And I also believe, oh god, this isn't gonna end well. Right, it's not her turn yet. Okay, we're good.
Is everybody okay?
And as you can see here, if you do specific things in battle, you get bonus experience. Anyway, as I was saying, you get these link points, you spend them for special events, and you gain link experience. And you're in a military school, which means, you get, like, in-school events and all that. And you get exams, and there's even a system involved in the game where if you have questions that you need to answer, and if you get them right, you get bonus AP, which, again, is the thing you get for, like, finishing a lot of quests and stuff, unless you rank up and get specific bonuses. So, you get... It stinks of... Well, it doesn't stink of Persona, but it just reeks of it. It's amazingly like Persona. There's just so much that's Persona-like in here. You can also get extra link experience by playing this weird card game called Blade, which unfortunately gets really boring after a couple of hands, but it's also kind of annoying because you need to play a hand with every character that you can in order to get the most link experience, which is kind of annoying, but not much you can really do about that, I guess. Hopefully they introduce new stuff into Blade, because I've only had the opportunity to play Blade once, but oh well. So, we'll just Autumn Leaf Cutter again, because why not, right? Looks great. Like, some of these battle animations are great. I really like looking at them. And they've done a good job with the 3D models and all the effects and all that. The combat is just fun as hell, too. So, it's got that going for it. But yeah, it's amazingly like Persona. What's also amazingly like Persona is the fact that I really haven't had the opportunity to go off the rails yet. I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as Persona was about it, right? It's not that big of a deal because you do actually get to explore a dungeon, and you do actually get plenty of opportunities to do combat and get different items and stuff, where in Persona, you really were, like, thrown down into the, what's the word I'm looking for? You really were sent down a rail for like 10 or so hours until that game really opened up. But this game is a bit on the rails too. Like, we've got... you basically sent to Thor's Military Academy, and while there is 1 or 2 side quests you can do from time to time, it's not particularly free form, because you've only got a couple of things you can go do. Ow. And it's the same situation while you're here as well, because they won't let you go too far out of town, so you only have a little bit of exploration to go do, and you only have a little bit of... Oh god, he's really badly hurt. Let's just try and finish this guy off as quickly as possible.
Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, it's safe for now.
Laura gets a level up, so I don't have to heal her up or anything like that. And you get more abilities and stuff, and you earn your S breaks, as you go along in the story and all that. But even like 7 hours in, I still feel like I'm just on the rails a little bit, which is a little disappointing, but at the same time it kind of makes sense because, you know, you're a school kid and all that, and you have to stay within like the school's boundaries or whatever, however you'd put it. But it's still a little bit on the rails, and it might be a little bit on the nose to some people, just because I mean, sure, it's not as big of a deal as I'm making out, because you still do have things like, you can go and do side quests, and you can go and do other things like that, but again, it's just a little bit on the rails, especially in comparison to Trails in the Sky, which let you off the hook pretty early on, but it's still nowhere near as bad as I'm probably making it out to be. And it really does have a lot of Persona theming behind it, at least that's what I feel, because of all these things that they include, including like doing the special events to get your relationship up with the characters and all that, but thankfully the battles in this one aren't particularly, well, Persona's combat system wasn't too bad, but at the same time, it's alright. It's alright, but this is actually a lot better because you got your arts, crafts, and your ability to move around and try and stay out of groups so you don't get hit by team attacks, and plenty of abilities you can use to take down the enemies and buff yourself up, and
Your swordsmanship gets better with every battle.
And I've got a way to go to get to your level.
yeah, that tends to happen a bit too. Alright, Elisa just got to level up as well, which is quite nice.
Nicely done.
And I have to admit though, the Persona theming, well, not so much theming as the sort of friendship building systems they have in place. It works because it gives the characters a fair bit of depth, and they actually bring up conversations they've had previously later on, or at least that's what I think happens, because they do mention a lot of things, but nevertheless, it is a really nice system, and even though it does feel like a bit like Persona, at the same time, it is pretty easy to say, if you liked Persona systems in that regard, you'll probably like this game too. I don't think Trails in the Sky had a system like this, but this certainly does. Anyway, I know I haven't put much into it, but it is, I mean, like, if you've played Persona 4, which I imagine pretty much everybody in this bloody universe has, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say you've got time to go and talk to your friends, and that actually gives you bonuses in-game. It's a hell of a lot like Persona. But at the same time, the social links don't give you a massive boost, but at the same time, it's still a nice little system, even if it doesn't have that much overhanging reach. But anyway, let's go and get into an actually tough fight.
A worthy adversary.
Unfortunately, he gets to go first, but I have plenty of time to get some stuff going. So let's actually get some defense going here. And some attack while we're at it.
Alright, let's do this!
You can skip these animations, but you have to be just constantly hammering away at start, which is kind of annoying. And let's get them... Actually, what is this guy weak to? He's weak to fire, so let's get this casting right away. And let's break his armor right off. Again, you can... Shit! You can press start a lot to skip everything, but it's unfortunately quite annoying because you can't hold start to skip the entirety of the battle, for example, and you can't speed up the animations. Hey, it missed. I get a counterattack. Sweet. I actually do have a lot of people around here that can use fire-based attacks, which is quite nice. Is he weak to water? I don't think he is. No, he's not. Alright, let's just... What can this guy do that'll help? Make it easier to break an enemy's guard. That's actually pretty useful. Let's do that.
Analysis complete.
Right, so that's actually not going to help because I don't have a character who can do piercing damage, but oh well. There are different types of damage, obviously, that do specific things and all that. Anyway.
My turn.
Trails of Cold Steel is actually really good. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying just exploring the world, talking to people. The voice acting's great. The world design, while I don't like calling it generic because it's obviously got like a lot of Norse mythology in there, but I am enjoying the hell out of it, admittedly. Despite the fact that it's kind of generic, kind of. Not amazingly, but kind of.
Turn to flames.
And I've set the game's difficulty to normal, so I'm actually having a really easy time with normal, so... And I'm not that good at video games, I'm not that good at RPGs, but nevertheless, I am actually enjoying the hell out of this game. The strategy is actually really nice, too, because being able to affect the place on the turn order and do things like steal their bonuses out from under them, and of course all the usual stuff you get with things like all the usual things you get with being able to affect their defense and your offense and your defense and all that. Okay, this isn't good. I've got to get this out of the way now. Flamberge, why not?
Turn to flames.
Right, thankfully I do get to go with Reen, and he's got this delay, so... Oh, shit. Okay, this isn't going to be pleasant. Let's just get them as far away from each other as possible, because if that critical hits, that's not going to be very good for me. But yeah, the strategy is great. The storytelling is fine. The world building is great. The cutscenes are good. The voice acting is good. The structure is a little bit on the rails, but I'm still enjoying the hell out of it nonetheless. And a couple of characters have actually turned up from Trails in the Sky second chapter, which is quite nice. Thankfully, that's not going to hit anyone else, and Green's got more than enough HP to deal with that. So let's just get another Flamberge in and end this battle. Actually, hang on, no, S-Break. No, wait, no, too late. Oh well.
Is everyone okay?
I should probably show off that S-Break while I'm at it, but... Oh, yay! Bonus, he gets a new ability and a new... Yep. A new art and a new ability, and... Yep, he gets the Revive spell. And we even got Orbital for that, so we can slot that into someone else's place if we want to. And we defeated the quest monster, so let's go and actually show off an S-Break where I can absolutely show something getting destroyed. Is this one of those poison ones? No, it's a slug. Oh, I hate the slugs, but oh well, we'll deal. So we'll just go straight for this. Just everything about Trials of Cold Steel, I am enjoying the hell out of. It is a really, really good game. I am enjoying everything about it. I can't find too much fault with it at all. The writing's great, the voice acting's great, the combat's great, the visual design is great. That's awesome. And I will admit, I didn't talk much about it because it's just kind of hard to talk about everything this game does in one go, but these little tactical bonuses and XP bonuses you get for, you know, like, you get, like, 1.2 times the XP if you beat the shit out of everything without taking any damage, and you double team stuff, you can overkill stuff for extra bonus XP. It's... I enjoy everything about this, honestly. I'm really getting into it. It's... Uh-oh. Yep, he confused me. Not good. Alright, so I get a critical attack for this. Funnily enough, his attack is actually, like, area of effect, but not much. So you need to have them relatively close together in order to have a good chance. Good lord, this... Oh, God.
Right.
Okay, got a good stun in, so let's just have an area effective attack to finish this off. Still missed him! Good lord! Blessed Arrow. Let's just heal him up to make sure he doesn't get hurt by this.
You have my thanks.
Got a bunch of extra CP too, which is really nice. The S-Breaks and all that.
Let's keep moving.
But yeah, as you can see, Deadly Reprisal. So I killed him with a backstab, counter I should say, and I get bonus XP for that too. So it's just, it's really well fleshed out. Tons of depth to it. Lots of reasons to go around, just explore the world and learn about all the characters, and the voice acting is good. It's just, I honestly can't find anything about Trails of Cold Steel that I don't like. Like, actively don't like. Like, Blade isn't that good. which is like the card game that you play, but you don't have to play it that often, so it's not that big of a deal. It's a bit of a Persona ripoff, but at the same time, being a Persona ripoff that's actually good at what it does without being too overbearing about it, quite good, because despite the fact that it takes a lot of stuff from Persona, it's still a really nice system, and I can still enjoy it. And it does let you learn about all the characters, and it's a very good thing.
My turn.
And I'm just, yeah. Again, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And would I recommend it? Absolutely. Really good game. And it's just a further reminder that I still need to go and play Trails in the Sky First Chapter, because they have a lot of bloody references to those bloody games in this bloody series. So, I mean, there's a reason for that, because this whole series is just this one huge, like, self-referential thing that all takes place on the same continent within the same, like, decade or so. So,
Evil will fall before my blade.
it's quite something, I must say. Again, really need to go play the other ones, and they really need to localize 0 and Hour, which are the games that take place in between Trails in the Sky and Trails of Cold Steel. I got no more bastards to be here, really? Well, you know, I've been at this for about an hour now already, so I should probably end this off here, but yeah, Trails of Cold Steel, really, really good. Like, I haven't found one thing about this game I don't like, except it's a little bit on the rails, Blade kind of sucks, and it's a little bit of a rip-off of Persona, but at the same time it's not actually that bad, and it's still got all the stuff from Trails in the Sky that actually makes it really good in terms of, like, remembering where you are and having things you can call back on to remember and all that. It's a really well-rounded, well-polished, well-made RPG based off my first 7 hours with it. So, yeah, really, really good and comes highly recommended, although I probably would recommend you go and play the other Trails games first, just for the purpose of understanding all the references and all that. But at the same time, yeah, for those of you who've been holding out for Trails of Cold Steel and hoping it's good, don't worry, it's good. This has been Blue Maxima. This is a really nice little picture right here. I'll see you all next time.